So here's the tweeter. It's a nice little tweeter. It's got some heft to it. Now, it has does not have the capacitor soldered on, and they do include it right here. They include this capacitor. They give you a couple of them. It is a 5.6 microfarad, 63 volts, just so everybody knows. Now, of course, they throw in this crappy electrolytic capacitor, which don't work very well. I mean, they're good, but if you really want quality sound, go buy some polypropylene or polypropylene film capacitors. A little bit more expensive. It'll cost you a couple bucks a piece, but you're only buying 2. But the sound is phenomenally better. You'll find a lot of high-end crossovers and good speakers. They'll include polypropylene capacitors. So, highly recommend. Spend a couple dollars. Okay. So, on this actual tweeter itself, it is 37 millimeters this way, which is 1.5 inches for those of you guys who don't want to use millimeters. And then as far as height is concerned, it is 19 millimeters tall, or 3/4 of an inch tall for those of you who, again, don't like millimeters. Okay, they give you these cups here, which is if you're going to put it in like the fabric or inside of your door or cut a hole in your dash and you want it to sit flush. That's what this is here. So this cup will require a hole that's 43 millimeters, or about 1 3/4 inches, and the outside lip is 50 millimeters or 2 inches. So don't cut too big of a hole, or else the flange here or the lip is not going to cover the hole up. They also, I was hoping these things would swivel, but it does not. It just kind of sits in there and that's it. So it's flat. If you need it, use it. If you don't. Okay. They also include these. There's like these little backs that fit here, and they have these notches in the back of the tweeter. So you you screw this down into some surface, and then you put this on and you basically twist it and it locks in place. That's pretty nice. It's not very thick. You will have to cut a pretty nice little notch here in the middle, but it pretty much has to do that because it has to sit flush on the tweeter there. You see that? It's pretty flat. Okay. They give you a handful of screws, some brackets and stuff. Like I said, here is the capacitors, and they throw in some, I think it's Velcro or double sticky tape. I think it's double sticky tape. And then they throw in these brackets too. I'm not sure I'm going to need them. Some of you guys may want to try that out. I'm not sure. All right. So I'm gonna do another video later on for the actual audio review, like how good do these things sound. But for those of you who own Nissan Cubes or probably something similar, this is where I'm going to put mine. So I have this hole here, and I'm pretty much going to cut a hole right here in the middle for the mounting fixture, and then you got to cut another hole on the edge over here for the wire to go through. The wire has to go down in there, and then pretty much I'm going to have these sit flush. So it's going to be something like that. So it's not going to be too bad, I think. I think this will be okay. It's not going to look too bad. I think it's almost pretty much fits right over the hole, so I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, see you later. So here's the pillar mount for the tweeter, and there's the tweeter, the factory tweeter. Just to let you guys know, first thing you do is you peel this down, kind of just peel it off, and then you kind of pull it sideways, this right here, and it's going to stick out like this, and it's stuck in there pretty good because it's got 2 clips at the bottom. Now don't just yank straight up, because if you do, you'll puncture your headliner. So what I did is either put a rag up here or your hand, and then pull with one hand, and it's up to you. I went ahead and used a rag, so I just kind of draped a rag over this little piece here, and then I just pulled it up and it went loose. It's got 2 clips there. So don't forget to dynamite the heck out of this area. Oh, I keep saying that, kill mat. Sound isolation. There's a lot of sound that comes through your pillars. A lot of guys don't know that. But if you really want to reduce the sound or the noise in your car, make sure you sound protect your pillars. And of course, put some sound protection on the inside of this. I'm going to get rid of the tweeters. I actually turned them on once you put your ear up against them, there's almost nothing coming out of them. They're pretty weak. Pioneer T15 tweeters. I put them in my 2013 Nissan Cube. Had to take out the old ones. That's the pillar right there. The old tweeters look like this. It's the Rockford Fosgate system, but the tweeters are made by Clarion. Anyways, I had these little standoffs that go here on the side. They're kind of mounted like that against the pillar there. And I decided to keep them. So what I did is I kept them, and then I measured to see how deep. So what I did is when I had the panel installed, I stuck a piece of wire in there, see how far it went before it stopped, and then I measured it. And I realized I had about an extra 7 millimeters. So probably one of the reasons why the sound was not so good on the stock ones is because they're sitting back. So the tweeter's having to bounce around on the inside of the little plastic thing there. So you're not getting all the sound. So I went ahead and added a spacer. I went to the Home Depot, and they had this 1/4 inch nylon spacer. So I put one of those in there, and that basically it's about 7 millimeters. So it's perfect. So now there's about a millimeter gap between the top of this thing and the plastic, which is good. You don't want rubbing up against it and just clattering around and stuff like that. Okay, so these came with a electrolytic stock capacitor, 5.7 microfarads to be specific. I didn't really like it, so I went and I got some polypropylene capacitors, and basically I soldered it in here and I wrapped it around in plastic. So yeah, the original one is probably about the size of this. This one's a little bit bigger, but significantly better quality. For any of you guys that are working on crossovers, you know that polypropylene caps are significantly better than those electrolytic stuff. Okay, alright, this is the last one about the tweeters. There's the trim board. Put all kinds of sound isolation on it. Of course, I put kill mat on the pillar itself as best as I could. Didn't want to cover up the holes. There's my Pioneer tweeter, TST15 I think it is, something like that. Sounds pretty dang good. It sounds a little bit better than the stock ones. The stock ones weren't that bad, as I said. I think the problem was they weren't as far forward as they could have been. But it's definitely an improvement, and now it all matches the rest of my Pioneer system. The previous ones were 2 ohms, so now these are proper 4 ohm tweeters, so everything matches up now. Sound great. Good luck, guys.